Very good morning, guys. Welcome back to another topic, report writing, which is from Unit 4. Let's see what is report writing. It actually helps you to communicate well in writing. So for that sake, we have to write. And moreover, as we are discussing, as we are going through this writing part these days, and one should know the importance of writing, because wherever you go, you may be asked, or you may be asked to write a report writing, or you may be asked to write a précis, or you may be asked to write about an essay. Because most of the companies are actually after this writing part. And also, whenever you go for, if you are actually interested to go for any government jobs and all, and even you can expect one of these reports. So you, the one, supposed to be careful and should be perfect in writing something. Let's see what this report writing is all about. In general, report writing is very helpful for making the record of documentation, because it helps us like a path to solve problems. That is the main intention to write a report. Let's see what is a report. A report, this word, an English word. This English word report is actually derived from the Latin word reportere, which means carry back. So what we're going to carrying back is nothing but the information. So to whom we're going to carry this information? To the person who was not actually presented at the time of a particular scene. For example, we'll be having news reporters. We never go to a place where actually the incident has taken place. But these people actually, on behalf of us or on behalf of somebody, will represent, and they go to the scene or they go to that particular place and they carry the information, and whatever they gathered the information, they're going to forward that information to us. So that is what actually a report means. So whenever we write a report, make sure a report is short, sharp, concise document which is written for a particular purpose. So it generally sets out an analysis, a situation or problem, often making recommendations for future action. It is indeed to be clear and well structured. So we, the one, should be in the position to be careful when we are writing this report. And but make sure it should be easy for the audience to understand, appropriate for the audience, and as well as well organized with its clear section headings. So not only writing elaborately, we have to keep these things in mind. Next, these are the types of reports, and let's see. So we have formal and informal reports, progress reports, business reports, technical reports, case study, sales report, service report, proposal report, periodic report, and informational or analytical reports. These are a few reports what you're actually seeing on the screen, but they're going to be too many, but they're not actually necessary to be discussed. So that's the reason I just presented some of those. Let's see steps or features of a technical report. So remember one thing, whenever we write a technical report, a report must follow a standardized format, because this allows the reader to find the information easily and focus on specific areas. For that sake, so it follows the standardized format, and this is what you are actually seeing. The features are the steps. So a report must consist of title page, table of contents, abstract or executive summary, introduction, body of the report or discussion, conclusion, recommendations, and references or bibliography. These are the main features or steps of a technical report. In the title page, we have to write the title of the report and followed by our name, and if possible, you can also write the name of the person to whom you're going to submit. Next one is here, table of contents. Table of contents are nothing but, if you refer textbooks, you're going to see a page called index page, or some textbooks carry contents list, or some textbooks carry table of contents. So where we're going to have a complete description about the contents which are going to be in that particular talk. So when it comes to the next one, introduction, body of the report, or discussion and conclusion. See here, whenever we are writing body of the report, make sure it is a decision making process because it states a problem, identifies the background, reviews the information, analysis and evaluates, and finally it states about findings and discussion. So that's the reason. So we the one should be in the position to cover all these points whenever we write, writing a report. Our next one is here conclusion. Conclusion is a very important point where we have to conclude the talk very formally. And next one is here recommendations. So recommendations you have to write about what should be done next. That is the reason we actually mentioned, or that is the reason it is mentioned in a report. And next followed by the references and bibliography. If you wanted to give any references, if you have taken anything, or if you have cited anything in the report, you can mention that website address or the book address or something in that references or bibliography file. And here you are seeing the sample report, and see here you are seeing title and immediately followed by the executive summary, which actually talks about that purpose of this report, and followed by the introduction, our next one discussion, and a conclusion. So once we're done with the body of the report, we're going to write the last recommendations. This is how a technical report normally goes. On next slide, that talks about the key points to remember when we prepare a report. So what actually triggers in our mind, what tends to be used when we're writing a report. So remember one thing, my dear, we have to use only past tense, because a report always talks about past actions. So that's the reason we have to use past tense. So there is no second thought what tends to be used and what type of structures that we have to use. So you needn't worry about that. You just use the structures in past tense and just go on with that. Our next one is here, second very important point, that you should not use first persons like I, me and all. It is better use third person, that is he, she, it and they. Our next third point, which is very important, never use direct speech but better use indirect speech. What is this direct speech and what is this indirect speech? See here, you are given an example here. So we're going to give the direct statement what is actually said by Mr. Victor. So what Vicky said, let's see. Vicky said, I love to be a soul rocker. So we're going to carry this as the information, whatever he uttered, whatever he said. So that's the reason it is said to be in direct speech. So when it comes to indirect speech, because we have to use the sentence in the statement in indirect speech, so that's the reason we have to make that direct speech into indirect speech. See, this is how it is going to be. Vicky said that he loves to be a soul rocker. So the difference between the first statement and second statement is this. So after Vicky said, we have a comma, and whatever the statement that is actually made by Vicky is kept in inverted commas. But in indirect speech, so in the place of comma, we actually used the conjunction, that is that. So Vicky said that he loves to be a soul rocker. So no inverted commas are used. At the end, we actually kept a full stop. And next one is here, the tone of the report supposed to be in passive, and make sure this tone supposed to be always in formal. So these are the key important points that you have to remember whenever we write a report. Our next thing, my dear, let's see the structure of a business report. So whenever we are writing a report, make sure we are writing this one for decision making. So here the decision makers are audience. Audience are nothing but the reader, the person who is actually reading that report. So we'll actually make the decision. So that's the reason they are said to be as the decision makers. So whenever we are writing a business report, make sure we should follow these 5 points. The first one is here, executive summary, and next one in introduction, next body and conclusion, and followed by recommendations. These are the main features that one has to remember whenever we write, or whenever you happen to write a business report. Let's see an example of a business report here. So this is the sample business report, and as you are seeing here, we are seeing a report of a weekly activity. So employees weekly activity report, and this is how it is actually written. And here it is written employee's name followed by the department and the week. And next one is here what all the tasks that he completed is actually discussed here. And next the performances, the tasks which are going to be done, so is also discussed here. And next even the tasks are also given for the next week, and what all the tasks that are given to him for the next week are also discussed here. And next one who approved, and the date is actually given in this weekly activity report. This is one of the examples that you can see. I hope you understood, and let's move to the next slide. Next one is here what is a technical report. Now before we saw how we actually write a business report, now let's see how we have to write a technical report. So a technical report doesn't mean that or a technical report is written document made by the researcher which contains the details about a project details. Most of the times we're going to write about the project results, so that's the reason. So these technical reports actually referred to be documented. So what are these technical reports and where we're going to see? So some examples are here. The technical reports are nothing but lab reports, manual reports, surveys, and statistics reports are said as technical reports. Let's see an example of this technical report. This is one of the sample technical reports. So we are actually presenting laboratory templates here. Just see. So here we're going to have a title. So whatever the title of that report we're going to mention, and next we're going to state the problem, and next hypothesis supposed to be written, followed by the materials, procedure, results, and the conclusion. And this is how we actually write a laboratory's report. The next one is here. How are we supposed to write a report about an event? Say sometimes in the examinations they will ask you write a report regarding an Independence Day celebrations or some events. So don't get confused, and this is how we have to write. This is the structure to write about an event. See here, when we are writing a report regarding to an event, so these are the steps that we have to follow. The first one is here. First you should write the heading. Heading is nothing but the title, or next followed by the place, and next reported by. So you have to write your name over here. On the next the date supposed to be written when you are writing this one, and followed by you have to write the body. Next, when it comes to body, so you're going to have introduction, discussion, conclusion. In the introduction part, you have to answer to all these double H questions, which are what, who, when, where, and why. So you're the one who's supposed to be in the position to justify these questions in the introduction. And the next one is here. It talks about how. How means here how the event started and what are its highlights. And next one is here conclusion. So you have to summarize the event with a positive note. How are we going to summarize it? So you have to, summarization is nothing but here you have to restate the introduction of that report. This is how you have to write a report about an event. This is the sample report about an event. Just check it out. You must be a quick reader, so you must also practice on reading skills, because no, within the time you're supposed to read, so and also you have to understand. So you'll be not given much time to read, you will be not given much time to understand. So within the time you have to read and understand. So try to improve fast reading. Alright, this is what is all about report writing. Hope you all understood the concept. If you still have any doubts regarding this report writing, you can ping me on WhatsApp or you just call me. Thank you.